opening statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to provide their opening remarks. Candidates will speak in alphabetical order by last name.
Good evening. I am Councilmember Helen Zenobia Willis, and I would like to be your next Fulton County 5th District Commissioner. Growing up in Savannah, Georgia, as a little girl, I was a fighter, but I fought for people who did not have voices. Volunteering at Memorial Medical Center, which is like Grady here in Metro Atlanta, from 13 to 16 years of age, I learned that there were mothers who were worried about their children who had to go to the NICU unit. There were seniors who could not afford health care. There were many people that I met that could not afford, that did not have the means to have a decent living. So, what that taught me is that dignity matters, access to health care matters, leadership matters, and leadership is service. It's not about titles. That lesson taught me to go on to be a caregiver for my grandmother, later a caregiver for my mother. In advocating for them, it taught me and deepened my passion to fight for those in my community. We went through a lot during COVID, and together we addressed healthcare by bringing access to healthcare in the community. We addressed food insecurity. I worked with my current commissioner to bring jobs to teens for the past 8 years. For almost a decade, you all have elected me 3 times. You have trusted me to lead this community. I ask for your vote and your support May 19th to be your next Fulton County Commissioner. Thank you for having the both of us. Thank you. I'm Helen Zenobia Willis, and I'll ask for your support and vote May 19th.
First question for this evening. Fulton County manages multi-billion-dollar budget. Within your first county budget, what 2 concrete investments or policy changes would you prioritize to lower economic pressures on working families and seniors?
Fulton County has already passed their 2026 budget, okay? And there are 5 areas that they are focused on in the 2026 budget. That is healthcare, human services, justice and safety, open and responsible government, infrastructure, economic development, and arts and libraries. And so, yes, many are hurting. Pocketbooks, seniors are suffering, healthcare costs are rising. The first 2 policies that I would love to address is how we can help our most vulnerable community, and that is seniors. Bringing health care access to the community. Advocating that we address the rising costs of seniors. I see it every day, I hear it every day, people can't afford their medicines. So we have a multi-million-dollar budget in Fulton County, and we need to work to create more supplements for our seniors, to get cheaper medicine, to have access to produce and vegetables, because our shelves are empty, and we need to make sure that we are working with Grady to make sure that we create opportunities where seniors can bring the healthcare access can come to our community. That's what we have been doing. That's what we will continue to do in the City of South Fulton. Sometimes you have to meet people where they are. And our problem in the 5th District is that healthcare is not as accessible.
So within the next 18 months, what specific measurable change would you target related to jail population, diversion access, or recidivism And what specific budget decision, including whether funding would increase, decrease, or be reallocated, would make that possible?
Being married to a 37-year veteran of a Fulton County Sheriff's Office, I have firsthand knowledge of what's going on with the jail. The jail was too small day one they opened it. One, the way that you fix some of the problems with the jail is that you fund the entire ecosystem of the justice system. You see, the jail is just a holder, but the jail can't release people if the judges are not equally funded, if the prosecutors are not equally funded, and if the district attorney is not equally funded. And what you hear from all of the justice partners is that they are underfunded. And so not only do we need to fix the jail problem, we need to fund the entire justice system. Not only do we need to fund the entire justice system, we need to continue to create programs to keep our children away from jail. And that is what I have done. I'm a very harsh advocate for improving our park system and working with partners to keep activities, to keep our facilities in our jail, keep our facilities up to par in City of South Fulton. Because if we keep our kids active, then we don't have to worry about them going to jail. For the past 8 years, I have worked with our current commissioner. Every summer, we bring job programs. We work with WorkSource, a Fulton County agency, WorkSource, and we bring employers to our community every spring so that our kids can get jobs during the summertime. So, making sure that our community and our children have jobs, making sure our residents have jobs, funding the entire ecosystem is what I am going to advocate for as your next commissioner, because that is how we keep the population in the jail low. Thank you.
Okay. District 5 includes communities vulnerable to rising rents, investor purchases, and senior displacement. What county-level policy change would most directly protect legacy homeowners and renters, including addressing corporate bulk purchases of single-family homes? And how would you prevent unintended consequences?
I can tell you what we have already done in the City of South Fulton. There is legislation that we have implemented that will prevent investors from coming into our community and building homes to rent. And we're not against renters, but what we want is traditional communities. We don't want them to come in traditional neighborhoods and build and change the character of the community. I will also, as your commissioner, make sure that we have funding to partner with agencies that will provide affordable housing. That was proposed in this budget, and it was not put in the budget to fund agencies that will provide affordable housing for seniors. Many of our seniors want to age in place. They don't want to move out of the community. We do have, in Fulton County, we have a housing authority, and they have done a great job with building some affordable senior housing in our community, but we need more. In the South Fulton region, our legacy residents is our fastest growing population. And so we do need serious rent control in Fulton County throughout the South Fulton region. These beautiful homes that you see, many of them are occupied by residents, and they're ready to transition into smaller quarters. As a policymaker, I have approved at least 3 affordable housing communities that will be coming on board in the City of South Fulton. One on Welcome Mall, one on Fairburn, and these homes will be geared to affordable housing for seniors. So as a policymaker, we must look for ways to make sure that we are working and demanding that developers build homes or build senior affordable housing so that our fastest and most vulnerable population will have some place to age in place.
Fulton County oversees public health and behavioral services. What measurable health outcome will you commit to delivering in your first term? And what specific investment would support that outcome?
Here in the City of South Fulton, we already have policies in place where if our officers encounter people who are having mental episodes, they should call a mental health crisis on the scene to help them through the crisis, or help them deal with the person who's going through the crisis. They also have been instructed, instead of taking people to jail, take them to the Behavioral Health Center, Diversion Center that is newly opened in Fulton County. Atlanta and Fulton County partnered and created a diversion center. That diversion center will help people through their crisis and give them wraparound services. The thing about it is we need one on the south side. We need those services on the south side as well. Yes, our jail is filled with people who have mental health issues. And the last time I checked, I think that is one of the main things that they are focused on. That is what the new tower is going to be built for. The new tower that is going to be built in the jail, for the jail, is going to address, it's a diversion center for, and it's going to address inmates who have mental health issues. People who have mental health issues do not deserve to be in jail. They should not be in jail. The problem is that Georgia has closed most of the mental health services, hospitals throughout Georgia. And so when that happened, there was no place to take people who have mental health crisis. We get the complaints, we get the calls all the time as policymakers. We are going to have to create more public-private partnerships, and we're going to have to put the funding where it's needed. And that is to help people not only through their mental health crisis, but wraparound services. Thank you for the question.
What specific enforceable procurement reform would you implement to ensure Black-owned businesses receive a materially higher share of the county contract dollars? And what measurable outcome would you commit to achieving within your term?
Thank you for that question. Fulton County already has a minority business program. The problem that I see is that we need to do a better job with teaching people how to do business with government. I get questions all the time about how can I get a contract with the government. And I have to inform as a policymaker, I cannot single-handedly, award contracts or be involved with getting you awarded contracts. But what I don't see enough is governments hosting workshops on how to do business with government. Those programs already exist in Fulton County. Attorney Rodney Strong was instrumental in working to implement a minority business program in Fulton County. What I would do as a policymaker is work with our procurement department and host town halls and host training workshops with businesses and with residents in the community so that we can teach them how to bid for those contracts. Additionally, Fulton County has funding for nonprofits. The deadline for the funding, to apply for the funding for your nonprofit, is February 28th. How many of you all knew that? If you have a nonprofit, Fulton County has a pocket of money where they will award your nonprofit if you apply. So the problem that I see is not that there's not opportunity. The problem I see is that we as policymakers, we got to do a better job with educating our community and businesses on how to do business with Fulton County.
County governance requires securing 4 votes to pass policy or budget decisions. Identify one policy area within Fulton County Authority where you would be willing to adjust your preferred approach in order to build consensus for District 5 residents, and explain what you would and would not compromise.
As a policymaker for 9 years, I have experienced governing through chaos. 95% of my policies have passed. Here are some things I will not compromise on our most sacred right, and that is our right to vote. We are responsible for governing elections, and our 2020 ballots were stolen. The foolishness I see around our elections, I won't compromise on that. Too much blood has been shed. I will not compromise on services for our seniors because they deserve it. They've already paid for it. I would not compromise, as a daughter of a veteran, I would not compromise on funding our veterans for veteran services. We keep talking about this 50-bed facility that's opening up in South Fulton. We are in a death trap. That's cute, but we need more. We need a hospital. We need hospitals. I won't compromise on health care and access to health care because during COVID, I saw so many people suffer. I saw so many people who didn't have anyone to advocate for them. You send me to the commission, I am going to be your biggest advocate. My mama told me closed mouths don't get fed. And we're gonna eat a lot when you send me to the Fulton County Commission. Don't mistake my passion for confusion. I'm gonna go in the door working with everyone, but there are certain things that I will not compromise on, and I just told you what I would not do. Thank you.
By the end of your first term, what single measurable metric within Fulton County Authority should voters use to determine whether your leadership succeeded? And what specific number must that metric reach?
Judge me on getting our ambulance time reduced from 18 minutes. See, at the church that I'm a member of, I witnessed someone get sick and not make it to the hospital on time. I witnessed on several occasions where we had to wait on the ambulance service to come and to bring medical attention to our members and waited 20 to 30 minutes. Judge me on advocating on getting our ambulance to come sooner. There is no way our fire department should be our ambulance service. So as Fulton County Commissioners, we are responsible for appointing people to the Emergency Management Commission. And we need to hold them more accountable for the services that we receive in this area because we're in a death trap. The hospital is being built. So don't judge me on a project that's already in progress. Judge me on advocating on bringing more health services to our community. One-stop services. If they can have it in North Fulton, we can have it in South Fulton. I'm not gonna tell you that I can accomplish getting a hospital, a full-fledged hospital in my first term, because we didn't get here overnight, and it's not gonna take overnight to fix it. But what I will tell you, what can be fixed, the low-hanging fruit, is making sure that the ambulance service get here in a more timely fashion. Judge me on that, because I can assure you that is going to be the first thing I attack as your Fulton County Commissioner. Because if we can get to the hospitals, we can live.
If you become commissioner, District 5, what would you do to try to get more residents throughout the county to vote?
I would do what I'm already doing. Every community outreach event that I have is packed out, and I always invite Fulton County voter registration to my events. As a registered member of the Democratic Party of Georgia, I have been a state committee member for over 10 years. We convene Saturday. It is important that we get into these high schools, just like people came into my high school when I was in high school. We get our students that are 17 and a half registered to vote. It is important that we take our kids on these bus tours that SCLC sponsors every year, so people can see, so our students can see the sacrifices that were made for us to have the right to vote. We have to continue to educate, we have to continue to register, but we can't stop there. We have to contact people that we are registering when it's time to vote. We have to touch people 4 times to get them to the polls. So that's what I will continue to do. That's what I've been doing. And that is a mission of our Democratic Party of Georgia. When we fight, we what? Thank you.
How do you reconcile working with all of Fulton County? Speak to your relationship building with the north side of Fulton County.
In 2019, I was tapped by Rob Hicks to serve on the Core Services Governance Commission. And that's when we analyzed all of the services that's being offered in Fulton County to make sure there was no duplication of service. I also was tapped by Chairman Rob Hicks to serve on a task force to combat human sex trafficking called Hang the Sign. So we currently have policy in South Fulton where we display signs so that when human sex trafficking victims need help, they have the hotline of those signs that they can call. And so serving in this role as a nonpartisan elected official, I already have the relationships. Not only do I have the relationships in Fulton County, I have the relationships on the federal level, on the state level, and being an elected official, we have to attend training, National League of Cities, Georgia Municipal Associations, and that is one of the most important things about attending those trainings, is that we engage with our elected officials on every level of government and we build relationships. And that's why I have gotten so much done in my district, in this city, because it's about relationships. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Last question. Parts of District 5 is considered a food desert. Residents have to leave the district for food and entertainment. If elected commissioner, how are you going to address this crisis? We'll start with Councilwoman Willis and then Ms. Grimmett.
Thank you for the question. I have already been addressing the crisis. I started a program on the onset of COVID-19 called Feeding the City, and boy, did we feed the city. Yes, we are in a food desert. We partner with food banks. We partner with nonprofits, and we bring food into our community. You will see me constantly distributing produce, constantly distributing vegetables. We have policies in our city that restrict us, that make it hard for economic development to come. And we, as the council, is working on relieving us of those policies. Georgia is the #1 place to do business. South Fulton should not be the hardest place to do business. It is coming. I will tell you, it is coming. We have hired consultants, retail strategies. They're putting South Fulton out there. They're coding business to come here. We're looking at our policies. We're revising our policies. But in the meantime, that is one of my mantras, addressing food insecurity. I address holiday food insecurity. We feed over 1,500 to 2,000 residents. We make sure that they get the full meal, not just a turkey. They get the full meal. Every quarter, I'm distributing. I establish the relationship. I'm distributing food every quarter to my seniors, making sure they have access to fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. And one of the most important relationships we have is a relationship with the Atlanta Community Food Bank. I established that relationship. And that relationship has transcended to District 6, where she, every fourth Saturday, does food distributions. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
I want to thank the Men for Democracy Now! For putting on this forum. I want to thank my pastor for being my spiritual advisor, Pastor Pollard, I see you. I want to thank my husband for allowing me to serve, because it takes a lot of time and sacrifice from our family and home. When I ask you to go to the polls and vote for me, I want you to remember, I'm still this little girl from Savannah, Georgia. But I am fearless, I'm experienced, and I'm determined to make sure that South Fulton region gets their fair share. See, my opposition is not Ms. Marble. My opposition is the lack of services that we are currently receiving in our region. And I am determined to make sure that we get access to health care, that our seniors get services, that our veterans get services, that our libraries are updated. And I am determined to make sure that our right to vote is protected, which is why I have a resolution on our agenda at the next council meeting to make sure that immigrant detaining centers are not in this community. I ask for you to go to the polls on May 19th and vote for Helen Zenobia Willis. Send experience to the Fulton County Commission. Please follow me, join me. You will see me in the community. And my phone number is 678-847-3803. 678-847-3803. I'm accessible, I'm available, and I will work hard for you. Thank you for your time and your engagement. I'm Helen Zenobia Willis with the City of South Fulton.
Let's stand on our feet and give both of these outstanding candidates a round of applause.